Today's movie starts from the snowy peaks with a middle-aged man named Danzer, who guards an area in the Alps and guards to help the wild animals that live in the mountaintops. Danzer tells a story about a brave eagle and his friends, and its events take place in the year 1960 in an unknown location in the Alps. Two pairs of eagles have two eggs and are about to hatch. Danzer says that this father and mother consider the king and queen of the eagle family in the mountaintops, so their chicks are qualified for the throne, but because only one of the young will be the king, the brothers are always enemies of some of the hours of birth, and the father eagle, which is considered the strongest of the eagles, he has many enemies. One day, when the spouses were looking after their young, a strong eagle appeared and attacked them. The father began to defend his family and wrestled with the enemy eagle in the air, but unfortunately the father fell from a high height on the ground and died, and the female learned that her husband would not return again, so she began to nurture and raise her cubs alone, and somewhere else in the middle of the mountains, Danzer found the Eagle King. Moments later, Danzer met a hunter named Keeler. Lucas and his father lived in a small house in the middle of the mountains. The relationship between father and son was not good because Lux did not utter a word because of the shock of his mother's death, and Lux was missing his mother. But his father did not understand him and did not give him the love and attention that a son deserves. Lux went to his old house, in which his father and mother lived, and found a picture of them, where they were a happy family in the picture, so he kept it and started looking at her sad because of his father's treatment and his absence of his mother. And in the middle of the mountains, after the father's eagle died, the mother started raising the young and focusing on the strongest of them more, because he is who will be the king when he grows up. And time passes and the brothers always quarrel and hit each other, and whenever the mother leaves to come to eat they fight more, and most of the time the older brother is the one who beats the younger brother. And after weeks the chicks grow up and their bodies are covered with white feathers and their size becomes more and more, and one day the two of them fought hard and the big one hit the little one and he fell from the top of the mountain from a very high height, and the little one fell to the ground. He became injured and weak, and still did not learn how to fly, and he waited for his mother to come to help him. When the mother came back, she heard the voice of her little one, but she ignored him because he was weak and chose to take care of the strong old man, because he was the one who would become the king. The little one began to suffer with ants and wild foxes, and it became clear that he would not stand for more than that. And for his good luck, Lucas found him and took him to his old house, and Lucas took care of him and made a nest for him, after he tore his pillow and wanted to take care of him, but he had no idea about the Sakhtara. And he went to his house to forbid him to eat and was waiting for his father to sleep and steal his food for him. And Lux returned to the eagle and fed him from his father's meat and became happy when he saw the eagle at last eating, and in only one day the eagle and Lux became friends. And Danzer saw them playing in the fields and decided to teach Lux how to raise. On the second day, Lux forbids straw from the forest and makes a nest for the eagle, and he brings worms to him, but the eagle does not eat them. Danzer told him that worms are not healthy food for the eagle. Eagle feathers. Lux was working with his father on the farm, and his father was trying to communicate with him, but Lux, as usual, does not utter a word because of the shock. To yell at him because he forgot to close the farm door, and Lucas went to the farm and took a dead chicken and fed it to the eagle, and there he found the foxes attacking the eagle, so Lucas attacked them and expelled them. And he fed the eagle, and on a night when Lux was at home, he started reading the Bible book and saw the story of the brothers before and Habel, and because the story in the Bible is similar to what happened between the eagle and his older brother, so Lucas named the eagle with him, Abel, and his brother Cain, because it is a translation before and Habel in the English language, and at the time he sponsors in it Lucas. Abel was Cain in the mountain, and his mother taught him to fly and hunt, and Lux tries to teach Abel how to fly, but he does not know because of his lack of knowledge about birds. And one day while he was training an eagle, Danzer saw him and told him to live with him in the summer. And he promised him that he would teach him how to train the eagle, and he said to him, "I will persuade your father to live with me." And when the two of them went with the eagle to the house of Danzer, who was in the forest, Lux saw a painting of a boy with the eagle in the middle of the house that looked like Lux and Abel. Once again to the water, the days go by, and Abel and Cain grew, and their wings became large and beautiful. Thanks to the mother, Cain learns how to fly before the Abel. Lucas tries to teach the Abel to fly and brings a basket in the shape of a nest and hangs it and puts an Abel in the middle, and the attempt is futile at first. With time and many attempts, The Eagle finally learned how to fly and soar with its wings in the sky, and at night the two sleep together on the roof of the old house. But when Lux woke up on the second day, Eagle did not find you next to him and started looking for him until he saw him flying in the sky, and Lux was happy to see him flying. But when an Eagle came down on a rock and Lux tried to catch up with him, and he flew again and left his friend, so Lux was afraid that he would not see the Eagle again and found a feather of him on the ground, so he kept it for his memory. Difficult. Because he must escape from Killer the Hunter and his brother Ken, who has become a professional hunter, Lux searches for his friend Abel without giving up for days. On the day he surrendered, Abel finally came back, and Lux learned that he should not lose hope in life and came home with him, and Deezer offered Lux that he teaches him how to hunt and prepares the two for training procedures. Killer approaches them. When Lux sees his father, he runs away quickly. Lux and Denzer begin training. They start teaching him to hunt after tying a fur on the skin of an animal with a rope. After several attempts, the Eagle finally learned how to hunt, and although they spend a nice time with Eagle, they teach him the ways of life and survival, but Denzer tells Lux that they must release the Eagle one day because in the end it is a wild bird and must live in the wild naturally. He has a ring on his leg, and in the end the eagle flies away, and when the summer passes and winter comes, life becomes difficult for the camel, and when he tries to hunt prey, the snow makes the task difficult for him and becomes impossible. But Lux could not forget his friend and slept on the snow, and a wolf appeared and Lux tried to escape but fell into a trap set by his father to catch the fly, and for his good luck Denzer was close to him and heard his screaming and shot the wolf to escape and helped Lux to get rid of the trap, and Abel went to the place where he was born and met his brother for the first time after their parting. When Ken became very big and the enmity between them was still going on, and they began to fight over the prey, and Denzer took the story of Cabell and Abel to Lux, and Lux knew that this story was similar to the story of Abel and Ken and wanted to know how the story ends, but Denzer, he says, even with the knowledge of the last page of the story, the results will not be known and clear. On one of Denzer's expeditions, he saw Abel and Ken standing on the same branch and not fighting. Lux decided to abandon his father and live on the other side of the mountain and went to his old house to get ready, but Claire saw him and asked Lucas thought of the past when his mother died in a fire, and it was Lucas who accidentally caused it. When Keeler fell on the match, Lux was afraid and ran quickly to the mountains. Keeler followed him, worried about his son. When Lucas went up a mountain, suddenly rocks fell towards him and fell on the earth, was struck by a storm and struck by lightning. Abel suddenly appeared and flew over him, and after a few minutes, Keeler found his son and hugged him and apologized to him for his mistreatment. But Lux spoke for the first time and said the name of Abel, and the eagle's body appeared among the rocks, where he also fell from the mountain, and the years passed and the relationship between Lux and his father improved, and Lux loved him again as it was. The two climbed up the mountain in the snow with firewood to keep warm. Lux said he felt that Abel was still alive, and told him that the body they saw belonged to another vulture. Because he is not convinced that his friend has disappeared and wished to come back one day, and the father did not tell the son that the eagle's body belonged to Abel and tried to convince him not to have a false hope, but suddenly Lux told him to raise his shield, and Lux did not understand what was happening, but he did what the father ordered, and suddenly appears Abel and gets down on his armor. And Lux became very happy with his friend returning to him, and it turned out that this corpse belonged to Ken, Abel's brother.